Hello everybody. Good morning. Uh, Today I am going to show people. Before we talk about what I was talking about for my first ever uploaded video, I was talking about the Congo, the conflict of the Congo, and then somebody wrote me, tell me that to 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 talk about this subject before we go even in the Congo, because to understand what goes to the Congo you need to understand what comes before, way before what happening right now in the Congo. So before to understand that, we need to understand what are the powerful lobbies, powerful international companies, all this stuff, and that international governments around the world, especially the powerful countries, what they need from Congo or from any other countries in Africa that have resource naturals. Even those who don't have a resource natural, they are limited to they are restricted to stay in a position of inferiority. So before we understand that, what I'm if I say that it's going to be something just I'm claiming, but we need to look at the source of what really claims what I just said, and from there we can develop what happened to Congo, what happened to Mali, what happened to any other countries in Africa. So before we go there, I need to share with you a a particular document. This is called is in French la charte de l'impérialisme. This means that the imperial powers, they have created a chart. This chart, it's telling all the procedure they're going to follow throughout the what they're doing. For as long they're still doing what they do, they have to look at this chart. They can develop based on that, but they still, this is the foundation of their what they're doing. So I tried to look at this document in English, I couldn't find it, but I have the source where people they can go and find it. Is in Belgium, in the museum. It's called the Museum of Central, the Royal Museum of Central Africa. Yeah, the Royal Museum of Central Africa, and it's located in Tervuren, which is the place in Belgium. They say it's around 20,600. Probably now it's more or less. I'm not sure about that. But let's go back to the document here now. The first thing we need to know, because this document is in French, I have to every time translate it to make people understand what really going on, why Africa is in the condition it is right now. So let's go. We're going to start from the first one, which is this one. Okay, so okay, now we have it in English here. So okay, what it says here is this charter was drafted in Washington during the slave trade, then discreetly negotiated with the Berlin Conference in 1985, while the Western powers shared Africa. We negotiated secretly at Yalta when the division of the world into two blocks after the Second World War, and during the creation of the League of Nations, the forerunner of the UN. So UN. What is the source? The source is Tervuren Museum, the Royal Museum of Central Africa. It's in Belgium. Those who want to look it up and then go see it, they might find it there. So now this book also have some chapters. Okay, they have 60 chapters, but today I am going to cover just some of them, and then the next video may cover the rest of it. So now we're going to the first the first article of this book. They call the imperial chart. It's not a chart that tells you the metric and stuff. That is something different. Okay. So let me cover only three. Only so I'm gonna cover only two. Okay. I'm going to translate these two chapters, and then you guys will understand what it is. Okay, this is the first and the second articles that I am covering from the imperial charts. They say the currency of imperialism. So but this is not like a currency, it's just a mistranslation. That means it's like the core, the foundation of the imperialism, what they really do believe, or what they're going to implement in order to put a pressure in Africa. So what they say, to govern the world and control the wealth of the planet. Our policy is to divide and conquer, dominate, exploit, and plunder, to fill our banks and to make them the most powerful in the world. So people have to understand, they want to make their banks the most powerful banks, because when you have the most powerful institution, economic institution, that going to lead you have the most powerful army. When you have the most powerful army, they're going to lead you to control everyone, to make things submit to your will. But the wills we're talking about here is not a will that is for a love, or for a particular good friendship with others, and that is to make others suffer, being poor, and so on. But we're going to cover that later on. But now we just are going to understand what the chart, the present chart really talking about. So the second article, what it says, no country in the third world is a sovereign and independent state. People have to understand that why they saying that, because if you have independent state in the third world, as they call it, in Africa, that means they're going to say no to some things that they don't like. And if they say no to some things they don't like, it means some of their project will drown. So they have to do something about it. So this is the part of it. And then now I'm going to try to translate the from the article number 3 to article 6.5. Okay. Okay, this is from article 3 to 5. You say all power in the countries of the third world emanates from us, that the exercise by the pressure on the leaders who are our puppets. no organ of the third world cannot assume the exercise. And the fourth says all countries the fourth say all countries of the third world are dividable divisible and removable borders according to our will, respected, for the territorial integrity does not exist for the third world. And then the last one actually says all dictators must put their fortunes in our banks for the safety of our interest. Okay? For the safety of our interest, this fortune will be donations and loans granted by us as support and development aid of the third world, as they say. So what that means is that, let's go from the first one. All power in the countries of the third world emanate from us, that it exercised by the pressure on the leaders who are our puppet. No organ of the third world cannot assume the exercise. What that means is that they're going to put someone in the power in the third world in Africa, even though population don't like these people. They're going to put that person whatever ways they choose to. They will put that person there. Also, all countries of the third world, they can divide it whatever they want. The proof of that is that Sudan was a whole world country, because they didn't like the leader, and then they have like a certain problem. They created a puppet there in the other side, so they divided. Now it's South Sudan and North Sudan. Why? Because Sudan had a resource south of it, or whatever. They have some resource there, so because they want it there, so they divide it. So this is the one of the example. And then they say all dictators must put their fortune in our banks for the safety of the interest of their interest, which is means that those who call themselves a leader of Africa, they have to put money in the banks, Western banks, so that this money they're gonna use it, saying, oh, we have a donation for your country, we give you this, we give you this, we give you this. But in reality they don't give you nothing. It's just the money from the puppets of the puppets they stole from the country. They bring it there, and then they just give you back the little bit of it and telling you, okay, this is what we give you. It's our aid, but in reality it's the money belongs to African people, and the money is from Africa. They just took it and then they give you, because in order to make you feel like they're helping you, but in reality they don't. It's their game already. So saying that, that is by saying that is the fifth article of this imperial chart. That was the general disposition, how things might work generally. Now we go to the specific part of it, which is the regime, how they manage to control the regime. That is the article 6 and the article 7 of this chart. What exactly the article says about the regime. So what it says here is this. Okay, they say all power and government established by us is legal, legitimate, and democratic. But any other power on government that does not come from us is illegal, illegitimate and dictatorial, whatever whatever its form and legitimacy. What that means is that even if Africa chose someone who is very reliable, who can do the work he can, a very good work, and people elected him, they want, if this person does not submit to the imperial will or agenda, they're going to put that person aside. Is not going to be elected, is not going to be recognized by them, which means if someone is not electable, nobody wants him, but because this person they choose him, this person is legal, this person is legitimate, and his regime is not dictatorial. So it's kind of like the upside, the opposite of what the word supposed to mean. So the example of that come from the D.R.C, Democratic Republic of Congo. In 2006 they have election. The guy called Jean-Pierre Bemba, he won the election, but he didn't get it, and nobody couldn't say, oh, you was the one who won the election, because he's not there, is not what they want. And the following of it, it was in 2011. There was the famous the guy of opposition guy, Etienne Tshisekedi. He won the election, but they didn't give him that because he does not represent their values at that time, at least. Okay, now Article 7, he say any power that opposes any resistance to our injunctions loses thereby its legitimacy and shall be disappeared. This is what it really says here. It should be disappeared. Okay, what that means is that if you have a power that opposes their will, it shall go away and is not legal anymore. It became dictatorial and it does not have legitimacy anymore because he opposed their will. That's what the evil chart says. That the example of that, it should be the Muhammad Gaddafi, because Gaddafi opposes some of their wills, and he was taking the in other directions than the one they wish. So they decide to kick him away. They decide to pull him away. Now, treaties, the treaties between governments, how it's supposed to work according to this chart, this present chart. So let's go here. That they have the way that they want the treaty is supposed to be working. So on this video we're going to the last article we're going to cover is going to be these two articles, and then the next video we'll be trying to talk about some important articles beside these articles, and then after that we're going to talk about all the important articles, and then we're going to cover now the very important subjects. Okay, the article 8 and 10 of this present chart, what the article says. So article number 8 says, we do not negotiate agreements and contracts with the countries of the third world It requires them. It requires them what we want, and they are under our control. Article 9 say any agreement with another country or trading without our approval is null and void, which is means that they don't have to talk to you what they want. If they want a cobalt, they want a diamond, they want a oil from your countries, they're going to come there, they tell you this is what we're going to do, and then you're going to submit yourself to it. And then they're going to tell you we want this, you have to do it. You don't tell them no, this is not how it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be like this. You don't tell them that. And then they say any agreement with another country or trading without our approval, it's not acceptable. That's basically what they're saying, which is means that if, for example, they have a trade, and any country of Africa had a trade, for example, with Russia or China or any other countries beside them, they're going to say it's not something, it's approved, we don't recognize it, and then they're going to try everything to block it actually. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and I will hope you subscribe and leave me a comment and a question what subject you think it's a matter what we should talk about. Thank you, and see you in the next video.